Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for Superboy issue 19. And before I start talking about this issue, just want to give you guys a couple updates, actually two updates. One update, of course, I have a couple of reviews on DarkAvengerINC that I usually do on Comic Uno, which are Uncanny X-Men issue 4, Wolverine issue 2, Fantastic Four issue 6, and Invincible Universe issue 1. So if you want to go check out those reviews, just go in the description below. There'll be a link for DarkAvengerINC. Go check those out. Another announcement I have is actually I have a friend that's doing a Kickstarter. I reviewed their book on DarkAvengerINC a couple of months ago, and my review is actually on their Kickstarter. So it's called The Devil's Pool. It's a really interesting comic book. They're doing a Kickstarter for their first issue. So definitely go support them. It's a really interesting series. They actually have actors that, play out the whole entire comic before they write it, and that way they can have all the expressions for the art. So it's a very unique comic book. So go check out their Kickstarter. I'll have the link in the description below. So that was my announcement for that. And if you want to check out my review for issue 0, on that page will be the review for that. So go check that out, and let's talk about Superboy issue 19. I usually don't pick up Superboy. It's very rare I pick up Superboy because I don't really like the current Superboy, but this is why I picked it up. We get to see something surprising in this gatefold DC cover. We get to see Lois Lane might be the mother instead of Lex Luthor being kind of the human DNA. We might have Lois Lane giving her DNA to Connor. I was like, what? How's this happening? So I was very surprised by this, and I was like, alright, this sounds pretty cool and kind of different. And also, Chris told me before the live show, Dark Avenger C86, before we did our live show on Tuesday, talking about the comic book. I was like, wow, that actually sounds pretty interesting. So he convinced me to buy it, and let's see if I enjoyed it. So let's talk about the cover. Again, it's a gatefold cover. It's one of the reasons why I picked up this issue. So obviously it's a good cover. I do like the art. I never had a problem with that for Superboy. But let's see if I like the story. Cool gatefold cover. So in this issue we get to see more about this other character. This character we've seen, but kind of in the background. It's about a father from the future, and he has a son, and there's this big war going on with the metahumans. And he says, oh, the first metahuman was Superman. And so he goes back in time to find Superman and to find his son, and because he tells a whole story that Superman had a son with Lois, and this is obviously after where we are now in the present. So this is after the fact. So this is supposed to happen in the future, but not his future. A little confusing. But so he goes back because his son dies because of this whole metahuman war. So he's like, I want to revenge for my son. I don't want this war to happen. So he goes back, and this actually makes him older and weaker once he goes back in time. So he finds his Superman's son, and Superman's son actually dies in this period of time. So Lois and Superman, they go to the Fortress of Solitude and never go out because they're upset that their son died. But because of their genes, the reason he dies is because of his genes and the whole mixture of human gene and Kryptonian gene. But we find out that he's not actually dead. He's only dead for a little while, and that's where this main character, I don't know if they say his name, Harvest. Yeah, Harvest from the Culling. Harvest takes care of Superman's son, and he uses Superman's son to destroy the metahumans, or at least try to save the world with these metahumans. And then Harvest actually starts to love this son, and Superman's son, and takes him as his own son, and he wants to protect him. He's just thinking about protecting Superman's son. But then again, Superman's son goes sick again, and that's why he makes the clone. And he uses Lois's and Clark's DNA. I don't know how he got it, but he uses Lois's and Clark's DNA, and we find out that Lex isn't the gene donor for Superboy. He was actually lying, and it's actually Lois and Clark, because this is a clone of Lois and Clark's son in the future, and Harvest wants to save his son, and he thinks as Lois' Clark's son as his own son. So that's why we get to see exactly his motives of why he did the culling, and he's actually controlling Superboy somehow, and he's trying to save his son. So honestly, I really enjoyed this issue. It's something different, making Superboy different, but in a good way. I think that's what I wanted with the New 52, with the Teen Titans, with all these series, is making it different, but making it good. With Teen Titans, it wasn't good. With Superboy, I really did enjoy the first issue, and I didn't really enjoy the series as the issues I picked up, but this changes the game. Honestly, I might pick up the next issue, see where the series goes, because I think that's so interesting. See where this goes with Lois and Clark being technically the parents for Superboy, which really we never saw that. And seeing that they have a son, how will they react to that? Honestly, there's a lot of interesting story that just came from this issue. I'm really excited to see issue 20. I'm really surprised I enjoyed it, and I'm happy I enjoyed it. It's a pleasant surprise because I love Superboy. I loved him pre-New 52. He was one of my favorite characters, and now seeing him new but interesting again just makes me happy. So this was very close to being my pick of the week, but I had another issue, a little bit more happen in that issue. This issue is a little confusing, so that's why I kind of didn't give this 5 stars. If you could tell when I was telling story, it's a little confusing, but after you if you read it a second time, I didn't read it a second time, I just looked over some parts that I thought were confusing as I was reading it. But if you read this a second time, I think you'll really enjoy this. And even if you read it first time, I think you're going to really enjoy it. I just think for a second read, it'll, be a little bit more understandable. But pick this issue up. Even if you haven't been reading Superboy, it picks up this issue. It actually becomes interesting at this point. So I'll be picking up the series, see where it goes. Hopefully it goes in a good place, and we'll see what happens. I really enjoyed this issue. I give it 4.5 stars. I say pick it up. Really enjoyable. The art is pretty good. Never had a complaint about that. So that was pretty good. So 4.5. Definitely pick it up. So hope you guys enjoyed this Comic Uno in Dark Avenger Inc. And I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.